So let's just jump to it. What's the verdict on this launch diagnostics tool for Land Rover? As I show in the video that you're gonna watch, I tested on a 2016. I also hook it on my 2017 L322. I like it. I like the price. I like the function. Hey, it's Jason with Jams.net. Thanks for tuning in today. As you know, I absolutely love Land Rovers. Whether it's a 2007, the 2003 that's covered, this 2016, that 2007, or a bunch of the other Land Rovers I have up at the building, like the 91 Classic, the Defender. The newer Land Rovers do have OBD-II sensor ports, which allow you to diagnose issues on the Land Rover. This is super important, because if you don't do that, it could cost you $100+ just to get it scanned at a reputable place to actually figure out what's going on. I want to introduce you to Launch. Launch is an ODB sensor, a diagnostics tool that plugs in. It runs on the Android platform, which is super cool. It should have some pretty good functionality. And they said, hey Jason, we see you have a lot of Land Rovers and we see you have to work on them a little bit. Would you like to test out this diagnostics tool on your Land Rover collection? I said, absolutely, I would love to. So let's talk about this a little bit. First and foremost, yes, this is a sponsorship video. They sent it to me. I did not pay. However, as you know and watch any of my videos, I am very authentic with them. I'm not going to tell you something just for the sake of telling it to you, and they did not tell me anything I should be saying. In fact, they sent it and said, just give it an open and honest review. So I'm going to do that on this 2016 Land Rover. It has no issues right now. Thumbs up. Land Rover gods, let's keep it that way. But I can still see like the operating temperature and some other functionality that exists on this 2007. It has a few issues that I'm going to be working on. This would be very handy. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. $170 on Amazon is what you're going to pay for this. I have another diagnostics tool that I paid $180 for. So the price comparison is similar. This one, however, has Android and it provides updates. I have not updated my other diagnostics tool probably in 5 years. So it would be good to actually have some that can be updated. And there was a fee, I think, per year, but you know, it's minimal, relatively speaking. So enough of me yapping. Let's go ahead and plug this in to the 2016 Land Rover, Range Rover Sport. I'll unpackage it, I'll show you how to use it, and I'll give you my first impressions. Look in the description below. There's going to be a link to where you can buy this on Amazon if you're interested. Let's get at it. Okay, let's go ahead and open this up. This is the Launch C-Reader Elite JLR Jag Land Rover. So it will fit on your Jags and your Land Rovers. This is made in China. This is the 2023 edition. It has a free update as well. Get your little instruction manual. If you've ever used one of these, you probably are somewhat familiar with how they function. That's your quick start guide, and then it looks like you get the full manual should you need it. It looks like this is probably so you can do some updates with it. I'm going to assume since it shipped to me it is fresh. I will update it later. My first impressions of this, it's pretty light. It reminds me of like an old iPhone or old Android. That would go on the port below. You can pop that off. You're probably going to want to keep this covered when you're not using it, just to keep anything out of it. I did read on an Amazon review, somebody felt like this plastic was a little bit cheap. It doesn't feel that cheap to me, but I bet you if I left this in a really cold car and jammed it in there, maybe I could break it or something. But that would be user error, probably not product error. Quick start guide, basically you connect it to the vehicle DLC, the data link connect port, right down here. And then it's probably going to go through some welcome screens, set language, time zones, wireless network setup. So that's kind of cool. I guess it can connect to the wireless network. Maybe I'll actually do that. So let's go ahead and get this plugged in, and then we'll see the process of using it. Okay, so as I demonstrated, it's plugged up. Let's go ahead and move this up here so we can look at this together. It's probably going to have a bit of a glare. Welcome. Click start. English. Yes, I want English. Select time zone. It's already set to America, New York. That's what I want. It will let me connect it to Wi-Fi, so what the heck, maybe I'll do that. Okay, it says connected, next step. Now, what the heck this code is for? Guess I should have looked at the quick start guide. Okay, so if you scan the code, it just goes to this little thing that says, if you have service problems with this product, contact your dealer, and it gives an email address to cnlaunch.com, sales at cnlaunch.com. So I suspect they might have this QR code here because over time they might change what's on that landing page. That's what my gut tells me, because it seems pretty wasted step otherwise. Next step, workshop information. So it wants us to type information in. Let me type that in. Okay, so I entered all my contact details in. It makes you agree to the user agreement. This thing has really good internet too. I'm outside. Now granted, I have a pretty beefy access point. So you can diagnose. You can do OBD-II, which is kind of nice. The mall is basically updates. You can upgrade, update the physical device. You can upgrade it. It looks like there are quite a few upgrades in here. So I am going to take advantage of an upgrade. V12.2. I don't see any reason not to. It looks like all of these update everything. So I'm going to do all of these updates because it says it comes with a year of updates or something like that. So there's 6 updates: a firmware upgrade, an AppGuard application, a main application, a Diag base, and a demo. So let's let this cook and update. Okay, the downloads have finished. Do you want to install them? Okay. I will say, even on fast internet, this bad boy seemed to have taken a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and say install to download. So plan accordingly. I think it took me about 15 minutes to get everything downloaded, and I am on fiber optic with perfect, like 300-400 megabit speed back here behind the garage on my Wi-Fi. Let's go ahead and get these installed. Okay, it seems like the app is installed, the updates, click done, and now I am back where I need to be. So I want to walk through everything on this screen just so you have a really good idea of how it functions. Oh, it says it's some more is being updated here. Let's give that a minute. Okay, it looks like I'm good to go. Let's get cranking. So this is a fully functioning device for any car if you just want to read error codes and translate what they mean. So let's say on my Chevy Silverado, I have a check engine light. I could go to OBD-II and it will actually scan and it will look for any codes that might exist. Man, more updates being done on this. Okay, I can't show you. Let's wait. Okay, so you never like to do a review video, and as you're trying to do it, firmware update failed. Everything I go to, I keep getting the same error message, even if I go to diagnose. I guess I'll unplug it and see if that helps, because it seems like it is doing nothing right now. Okay, instead of restarting it, I just went back to upgrade, and it seems like there's even more upgrades. So one little thing I would get them on is I wish these would ship without needing so many upgrades. It's like 6 more additional upgrades have to be done here, including that ODB sensor. But I thought I did these, so who knows? Kind of weird. Okay, I'm all done. Now let's go through this bad boy. Hopefully you can see it on my screen. Settings are exactly what you expect. Brightness of the screen, if you want, your units of measure, sound options. I'm going to actually, I do like that. Time zone, language, and all of that good stuff. If you go to data, This looks like if you were to take a screenshot, it would put it in here. That probably becomes really handy if you want to send it to somebody. It looks like you could share the screenshot, or to send it to yourself to remember what it was. A manual built in, different reports and such. If you go to upgrade, you already saw what I did there. It upgrades everything on the device. One thing to call out on this device, it won't stop working if you stop upgrading it, right? Presumably, you know, it's just like a cell phone, right? It's going to continue to function. It just won't be the latest and greatest. When you buy this is from Amazon. This is the Land Rover, Jag Land Rover edition with those softwares on it. It comes with, I'm told, a year of free updates. So definitely when you buy it, update everything. The mall, and I'm not 100% on this, but it appears you can buy more modules for this C-Reader or Creator Elite launch device. Like I'm seeing things in here for like Suzuki, Chrysler, Dodge, Coolant Bleed, all kinds of other stuff. Fiat, Ferrari. So it looks like GM, Brazil, GM Chevrolet. So if you want to do more of the diagnostics on those, it looks like you can. They're about $34.04, kind of a peculiar price, usually $59. Now they're on sale for $34.04, okay? But as I was mentioning before, the updates had me do them again or do more. This is your standard ODB, you know, diagnostics. Hey, a check engine light is on your Chevy. You want to use this reader. You click it. It's going to run through, and it's going to give you any codes that exist so you can diagnose things. More of a basic process. This would be very similar if you bought, you know, a cheap reader at, you know, Napa or something like that. It gives you a VIN. It gives you all of this stuff. You can say all protocol scan. It's going to scan everything and see if there's any specific error codes that come back. On this 2016 Land Rover Range Rover Sport, so it matched it on the OBD-II ISO CAN bus protocol. So it's going to figure out what's the protocol it needs to use to scan. And then it will go ahead and it will read and find if there's no error codes at all. There's zero. If there were some, then presumably you could read it. So that gives you all kinds of clear fault codes. Do you want to clear the fault codes? This would clear all emissions related info. So that if you did get error codes back, you could clear them. The check engine light will go away. That's not a way to fix your car, but it's good. And it looks like there's other things you can do in here. But what I really want to talk about is the module that you have for Land Rover or whatever you purchased with your launch reader. So this is where you can get a little more technical. You can go to Diagnostics. You can say Auto Detect. It is going to read the VIN, and it will determine, hey, this is a Land Rover. Hey, you do have this module on it, so you can do advanced diagnostics on your vehicle. So as you can see here, I pulled my VIN. It's a 2016 Land Rover Range Rover Sport. Do you want to start the vehicle system detection? Say OK, and it's going to begin to diagnose and run all those diagnostics on the vehicle. This can take a few minutes, so be patient. You don't want to unplug it. You don't want to power the car down so it loses power. Just let it go through its protocol. It's wanting me to verify it's correct. Yes, that is correct. So then it's going to give you all kinds of information here. Let's go ahead and talk about this. So this is pretty cool. It gives you almost like a PDF, the VIN. It gives you information about when you ran it, and it will begin to give you any details on any of the modules. You can see here the engine control module actually is abnormal. Lost communication with the active grill air shuttle module A, and the oxygen sensor was delayed. Not too concerned about that. It looks like the control module communication bus was off. So there's, you know, a few abnormal things here, but these are just, I would say, relatively minor on this vehicle. But you can look for exactly like tire pressure monitor module. If you have issues with like low tire pressure, is the module faulty, yes or no, you can check. It gives you everything you would need to begin to diagnose it seems like there's all kinds of weird CAN communication bus issues on this 2016, which is probably, I even have that on my 2007. I don't know why. So what you'd want to do is go through here and look for the exact issue that you think you might be having. So what would an example of that be? Let's say that your driver's seat is acting up and you're hitting buttons, or it's not functioning, it's not auto going up. You could actually look at the driver's seat module and see if there's anything funky. Now I have a lot of communication errors showing here. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to actually reset everything, and I'm just going to monitor to make sure that, because these are all historic, like old things that happened. So I'm less concerned about that. So now with everything cleared, when you run the report, presumably I should get all green check marks. And again, I want to emphasize, since there's no issues with this vehicle, I feel okay to do that. And then as I drive it, I can see if anything pops back up and is it a reason for concern. I'm testing this on a fully functioning Land Rover. But what I really like about this is the depth you get here. You can go to minute detail of specific modules, and you can even see streaming data. That becomes really important on modern day cars. Just getting a error code from an OBD sensor or module and just going on Google to figure out what it means. But it's great if you can control it. Like, you can control your wiper speed on some of the Land Rovers. You can control tons of stuff by this. So now see, everything is 100% green, so I feel very good about that. So I can hook this up in a week and say, hey, did anything come back up? And is there maybe a small sensor that isn't anything major, but it's going to become an issue over time? Yeah, so, I mean, this thing gives you just so much control. Like, you know, it's basically pulling all the information from the computer on the Land Rover and putting it in here. Like, I know it's 51.8 degrees ambient air temperature, you know, and you can really just get in here and you can just see tons and tons and tons of stuff down to the sensors and what's happening, and like your voltage of your control module. Like, it's 14.7 volts, and you can see that it changes. So, you know, you can really geek out in the data in here, but the most important thing is it's going to allow you to diagnose what's happening so you can actually be informed. Now let's go throw this on the 2007 Land Rover and see how easily it picks that up. Now we're at the Project 2007 Land Rover L322, and since I don't drive this and I'm working on it slowly, I keep the battery off. So since the battery is off, it's going to obviously have no error codes, but I just want to give you a sense of how easy I can go from a 2016 to a 2007, and it will start reading everything as well. And you're probably saying, Jason, how do you keep the battery off? I just have a disconnect switch. I don't do anything too fancy. But if these cars sit too long, you know what will happen. The batteries will die and become a huge pain in the butt. So let's get in the driver's seat and plug this in. It has been a few weeks since I started this bad boy. Wish me luck. There she goes. OBD port on the 07, same spot as the 16. Have it plugged up. I can go to Diagnostics. I'm going to say Auto Detect, and it will be the same as that 016 or that 16. It should just determine, based on the VIN, what is it that I'm driving. So as you can see, it determined it is a 2007 Land Rover. I'm going to go ahead and start the process. Now, this isn't going to have any fault codes because the battery was off, but I just wanted to demonstrate how easy it is to diagnose and get a little report. So if you're going to buy a Land Rover, absolutely take this, hook it up, run the report, get the little PDF, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to email it to myself. I'm going to share it. I'm getting some fault codes. So even just right on start, I'm getting some. And it's probably, you know, electrical control modules. And I'm not a mechanic like some of these folks. I'm just a tinker kind of guy, and every Land Rover I have always has some type of fault codes. I just don't want any of the major things. So let's let this bad boy run. So what's the overall impressions? I used this on my 2016 Range Rover Sport. It did a great job. It actually found things that I didn't know were happening on that Land Rover. Nothing major. It was historical, abnormal fault codes with some of the computer modules, which kind of is to be expected on on modern day cars as they get a little bit older. But I also hooked it up on this 2007 Land Rover L322. And it found a mess of stuff, all of which I know because it's currently a project. That's an 03, and unfortunately, there's a little bit of a transmission fault that pops up time to time on that car, and you can only drive it if you reset that code. So I always travel with one of these because I don't want to get out and unhook the battery or any of that good stuff. So my verdict is, absolutely, if you're a Land Rover driver, it's a no-brainer to have one of these because stupid things could leave you stranded on the side of the road, and it's easy enough to reset it. Or you could be driving out to the beach, something pops up, and then you're going to have anxiety the entire time you're there. Am I going to make it back? I'm with the family. Hook up the scanner. The reason why you want to be Land Rover specific, because of all the unique modules that are specific to Land Rover. You don't want to just get air codes. You want actual control over those modules to do things. This launch device would do it. It's $180 through Amazon. I would absolutely recommend it. And I'm happy to say Jams.net is adding this to our toolbox, and we'll be using it on our Land Rover collection. Thanks for tuning in. It means a lot to me. Please give me a subscribe. Hope you had a great day, and thank you for watching.